charged with a man in custody. His hands appeared to be zip-tied behind his back. It appeared that he was cooperating with police and not resisting their arrest. It was a multi-agency response. A SWAT team surrounded the home, and now it appears that Groves is back in custody. He had turned 28 while he was on the run. He was the last inmate still on the run after the May 16 jailbreak, in which 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center in New Orleans.
I remember when they first reported about this story, 10 inmates that escaped from a prison. Some say it was inside help, but well, they all went on the run. Most of them got caught. Then we have Derrick Groves, the last man standing of the 10. And it says this fugitive was captured. He was the last inmate to be captured, and he's a 4-time convicted killer. He was captured and apprehended after a standoff at a home in Southwest Atlanta, nearly 5 months after he escaped from the New Orleans prison. I'm Mo.J. This is The Mo You Know, so hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to jump into this article and see what Mr. Derrick Groves, oh yeah, happy birthday, Derrick Groves was doing while he was on the run. On May 16th, 10 inmates broke out of the jail. This is the largest in recent U.S. history. The men escaped by pulling open a broken cell door, squeezing through a hole behind the toilet, climbing over a barbed wire fence, and fleeing through a loading dock, which you see them jumping up off of.
Here, we were trying to film it. I'm going to go back and listen to that video because we have it on 3 different cameras here for our news station. So we are going to go back and try and isolate the audio and hear exactly what he said. But we could tell he was certainly trying to get the crew's attention because he was yelling out the left side of the vehicle as the crews were over there. And then as the car turned around and police were taking him off, we could see him move to the right side of the vehicle, started yelling again through the bars of those windows. So he has something to say. We're just not sure exactly what it was at this point.
Let's all be honest. We really don't give a damn what he was saying. Whatever he's saying, it doesn't matter. He's convicted of 4 bodies, 4 murders. He's going to go back to prison. They're going to add more time on, but he was already serving life. So for us, this is funny to watch this. Hopefully no one was harmed by him while he was out and on the run, but he's the last man standing. So I guess once he gets back to prison, they'll probably treat him like a living legend and say, man, you really did your thing out there while you was on the run. My only thing is, why was he still in America? He could have easily went down to the border, crossed over into Mexico, and been gone. But you know how it is. These individuals aren't the brightest, and that's why they're in the situation they are. And he got caught in Atlanta. So from New Orleans to Atlanta, and he was gone for like 150 days. But this is Atlanta, so we know that somebody in the neighborhood had to have snitched. I wonder what the bounty was. Let's find out how much he was wanted for and how much the reward would be for turning him in. Because $5,000 sounds good right about now, but I'd have to do it for at least $50,000. 4 bodies, yeah, $50,000.
SWAT broke the door down to, they broke the garage door down to, and this is where we are told Derrick Groves was hiding. That convicted murderer, it appears, seemed to have been existing in the garage space as well. You probably can't see it from around the tree, but we were pushed a little bit further back when they put up the crime scene tape. However, you can see a bed frame inside that garage, so it was clear somebody was living in that space as well. I spoke with some neighbors earlier off camera when we were seeing Derrick Groves getting taken away in the car, and they were telling us that they noticed people standing in front of the window, looking out the window. She said there was just some suspicious activity. I spoke with a little older woman across the street, and she told me that she had noticed every time she went out to go to her mail, somebody was staring at her from across the way, looking through the blinds and just watching her. So at this point, neighbors say there was some suspicious activity going on for at least a month.
Well, there's the answer. Somebody in the neighborhood was watching. That's why it's good to have elders in your neighborhood. Some of them mind their own business, but then some of them, their business is whatever's going on in the community. So they were noticing this. We still don't know who actually put the call in or if it was one of these people saying there was suspicious activity. But it looks like Derrick Groves was living in a garage. So he wasn't too hidden. They broke the garage down and they got him up out of there. They said there was a bed in there. Yeah, this is silly. You should have been in a rural area, if anything, laying low, especially with 4 bodies. You should have took the risk to try to cross the border. Yeah, we got Border Patrol down there, but they not stopping people from leaving America to go back. They just stopping people from Mexico coming over.
Just a little while ago, law enforcement agencies, multiple different law enforcement agencies were working a scene in Southwest Atlanta. That is where We now know that Derek Groves was found. He has been taken back into custody. We don't know his condition. We have not heard from law enforcement sources how he's doing, how that capture took place. Again, we do have news crews from 2 different stations in Atlanta who are headed to the scene as we speak to try and get the very latest from there on the ground in Atlanta to find out exactly how law enforcement took him back into custody. This is very much a breaking news situation. We have been following this, just for the last several minutes, but this is something that has been unfolding for the last several weeks as these 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center earlier this year.
All right, there you go. The story of 10 convicts that escaped from prison behind a toilet, over a fence, and one of them lasted for 5 months. What do you think was the most essential part of them escaping? Was it the plan, or do you think it was because somebody was helping them from the inside? But let me know what you think. Derek went on the run for 5 months, got caught in Atlanta, and they about to send his ass back to prison. We probably won't ever hear from this gentleman again. So hopefully he made the best of his 5 months on the run. I'm Mo.J. This is The Mo You Know. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Thanks for hitting 1,000 subscribers. Let's get to 1,500 by the end of the year. Thanks for watching. I'm out.